building. High priestess in the building, didn't let my fears kill me. Transmuted my pain in that cleanse in the rain. Down out, I was worth it and I conquered my demons. I accepted my purpose and the goddess I became. For a moment, because I know that there is definitely some not only misconceptions and myths behind the business part of spiritual practice, but there's also a lot of things people don't understand about running a business, period. Yes, you can be spiritual and have that mindset, because I'm definitely one of those people that is not trying to I'm not trying to get rich off this, right? I
Oh,
want to
I
live,
know you're not.
you know, living comfortably. Yes, I don't want to have to worry
Of
about my fucking
course.
bills, right? But what I've learned in this past 2 years alone from having the actual physical, the legal business, is there's so many back end shit that you have to pay in the 3D,
Hmm.
regardless to how fucking spiritual you are, right?
Yes.
And I think that I actually can understand some people's prices because they have teams that work for them. Like they might be in front of the camera, but they have a whole crew that's doing all the processing, editing, and stuff like that for them. Or like people who might have the business, and there's actually other people packing those orders and sending them out.
Hmm.
So when you look at that, and you look at these people are paying other people, what's that salary? I never understood that. I was someone who I was very judgmental on that, like, why the fuck are these prices so high, and why does it cost this for this? But then when you look at their employees and they're paying these people and they're trying to pay them at a decent wage, and
Right.
then healthcare behind it, and as a business owner, you're not just paying the wage of an employee, you're
Right.
paying your unemployment tax on each employee that you have under you, as well as if you offer insurance, you're paying on that as well. Because most people are not paying $500 in their jobs for insurance. Most people are paying like 100 and something a paycheck or something like that. The company is taking the rest. So as what I had to do is shift out of my spiritualness for a moment, right? And come into the real world of, oh shit, not only am I paying this, but then there's sales tax, and then there's all of these
Right.
other taxes depending on what state you live. So it gave me a different perception on some business. Now I'm not saying it's okay to charge $2,000 for anything. I don't give a fuck how, spiritual and on top of your shit.
Oh, yeah. No, no, you're right.
But I think that there are a lot of people, and you've heard, they will come at you like we're supposed to be doing this for free. And not everyone has this business where we can get government help and where, someone's going to come and pay bills. So no, it's great the people who can, and they're working their regular 9 to 5s, and they're doing it on the side, and they're just doing it because they feel that way. But I think where some, even myself, I had to open up and expand that part of me, because I was like, oh shit, like I didn't realize like this, there's levels to this, and your supplies and your marketing and all of this stuff that you're doing as a business, because now you are partially in the 3D, you're no longer just in a spiritual. So I just want to bring that up for some people, because I feel like a lot of people tend to have those myths and misconceptions, and you don't really know the back end of somebody's business until you're in it, right? I
No.
still don't agree with the crazy charging,
Hmm.
you know but I will give props to this one YouTuber, and this is why I bring it up. He's a YouTube tarot reader, and somebody would look at his prices and be like, what the fuck, you have like one question for like $100, and he's an amazing astrologer and this, and I've been following him for a while. But if you knew the back end of it, his people do not pay for healthcare. You know what I mean? Like
Oh,
so his
wow.
prices go into his team. It's not
Oh,
just
wow.
to
Yeah.
be the big baller. And if you don't research people and see what they're doing
Absolutely.
and what they're putting
Absolutely.
in, you just look like, oh my God, who does he think he is? Charging all this money, like Jesus. But I can see, because myself, who's someone who has looked into small business insurance and stuff like that, I'm like, this shit is ridiculous in America. But anywho, I digress.
No, no, you're right. And you're right. And especially these days, everything with, inflation, it's like, yes,
Mm,
unfortunately, we would love to separate ourselves from, you
right,
know, uh, anything having to do with governments that set,
right,
everything that's like, but we are living, you can't escape 3D completely.
right.
That's something we can't do. And yes. there's different things, but when you're operating on your own, when you're doing it on your own,
Mhm.
like let's say you're selling goods. Of course, if you're selling crystals, for
Right.
instance, when you're selling crystals, yes, a lot more work goes into it than
Mhm.
just me like going on Zoom once a week,
Right.
doing an hour or two class, and then, saying, okay, guys, like, this is going to cost thousands and thousands of dollars.
Right.
There's nothing. Yes, I'm the one that's creating the material. I'm the
Right.
one that's, unless I'm having somebody else create the material, which then I don't know if I would want to learn from that person.
Right. Right.
So, there's different, it depends on the business. You're absolutely
Right.
right. I
Right.
can't say I can't say it goes for every single business, because when you have to ship stuff and you have to, even shipping these days, I mean, for
It's
God,
crazy.
it's
Crazy.
insane. Everything has gone up,
Mm.
and we're living in a time where it's like, I feel like, not I feel, I know, as spiritual people, we're even targeted more.
Oh,
I
yeah.
feel like it's like, oh, they're watching us. They see the businesses. They see that we're selling. It's like,
Right.
I know that there are ways that you are probably getting charged more than the average Joe Schmo that's not
Right.
selling, spiritual
Right.
stuff.
Well, I
It's like,
mean, do you know, a lot of people don't realize when you get a certificate to sell in your state that anything bought underneath that certificate, the IRS now has been alerted and they compute what they think you could have made on those
see, I didn't
based
know that.
on whatever it is. So if you don't file, there's these particular forms and on that you got your quarterly, like every 3 months you got to file these papers, let them know how much did you make. And if you don't do that, they basically assume what you've made, and then all of a sudden now they can tax you, put a lien on your business, put a lien on your account connected to that business.
Oh,
If you and see, this is a lot of things, people jump into business and they don't really realize that. So, education is everything across the board. I don't care if you're fucking spiritual or not,
oh,
education is key. And you
absolutely.
have to learn, and I've had to learn the hard way of this, because I would be looking at these papers coming from the IRS like, what do you mean I made this much? Because I buy a lot of stuff, and granted I do sell a lot, but a lot of stuff I do promos, I do marketing, I do gift bags. So a lot of the shit that I buy under that, it goes to gift bags. And I'm like, wait a minute. I didn't make what you think I've made on this,
Right,
you
right.
know? And then there's like even I do donation lives on, Facebook. Well, PayPal doesn't give a shit what you're doing, even if it is donation. PayPal makes it as a sale. So PayPal now has put to the IRS that I made this much money last year in sales. I can't dispute it because PayPal says we don't recognize your donation, your donations. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Is PayPal the only pay app that does that, or do they all?
Now, I don't know about Cash App and Venmo because I don't have a business Cash App or a business Venmo. I only have a business PayPal. And I was kind of forced with PayPal because as soon as in 2020, when they saw how much I was doing in 2020, they were like, no, you no longer can have a personal, you need a business. So I had to get the business one.
Right.
And then I didn't know that until this was my first year of actually filing with because if you make certain money, you get the W-2 forms from like PayPal, Facebook, or whatever. This was the first year that I actually got those forms, the 1099 forms from, like Facebook and PayPal. And so when I saw that, I was like, where the fuck you think I made this? And because I don't really use PayPal like that, but you
Oh,
can't dispute it because in their policy, they don't look at your lives as, donation lives. They look at it at. So again, yes, there's a lot of red tape as a business owner. There's a lot of things that you have to go through. I do suggest you guys, if you're looking into actually changing from self to business, you really need to look into some things in your state because every state is not the same. I get taxed a certain way in Florida, but if you go into a different state, it's going to be different. Even the level of the licensing that you need. There's no real tax on booking consultations. There's no tax on that. But my crystal business is a whole nother thing. Like there has to be the
yeah,
tax, the sales tax on
of
those.
course.
Yeah, it gets deeper. It's a lot of crazy shit that you
It's
got to look at.
crazy. And, It's unfortunate, but it is. I truly believe that somebody, especially somebody like you, that we don't care. We don't, yes, we're abiding by what 3D says because we don't
Right.
want to get in trouble and we don't want to, you know, but
Right.
the universe will provide. The
Oh yeah.
universe
Oh yeah.
always does. So don't let, like, just like you said, don't let that discourage you. Yes,
Right.
look into it. Yes, learn about it. Yes, if you're pursuing a purpose of like creating a spiritual business, absolutely look into it.
Right.
However, don't, if you are able to afford it, don't let it discourage you.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you are contributing to which, if there are probably two people, you're one of them that I know that like nobody contributes like you and this other lady that I know as far as like giving back
Right.
giving
Right.
more than you actually charge,
Right.
because you understand
Right.
the higher purpose of it. You understand what, as a, light worker, as whatever you
Right.
like to call, label
Right.
yourself, that what you're trying to accomplish. You are trying to help the ones that need the help. You are trying to set the ones that are struggling getting on their path know that they want to get on the path that are struggling.
Right.
Now,
I, I think you have to be aware in your path to understand that it's all going to balance out. Like you said, the universe is going to provide. There's sessions where the person is booked for an hour, but that session goes really quick. Maybe it's 30 minutes. And then another person, maybe it goes 2 hours. I never liked the putting on a timer like ding, your 30 minutes is up, next, because I feel like spirit is going to have me with you as long as I need to be with you. And so if that time goes a little bit over,
yeah,
I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, can't answer any more of your questions, because my focus is more on to make sure you leave every session with guidance and clarity. That's the whole
yeah,
fucking point. At least that's how I feel, right? Even on my
absolutely.
lives, I'm not going, okay, 5 minutes, next. I'm going, what is the message? And as soon as the message starts to repeat, that message is done. There's no need for me to continue, you
And
know?
I've been part of your lives. I've seen your life. There are
Right,
ones
right,
that are just like,
right,
like the message is like deeper, deeper, deeper. And then when mediumship all of a sudden becomes a part of it, and I've just been like, oh my God, this person's like, reading just turned into like 20 minutes when it's usually like,
right,
10 minutes or whatever.
right.
So, and I know, yes, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
No, I was working and I conquered my demons. I accepted my purpose and the goddess I became.